What is that?
Clover Park Junior Senior High School, 1946. That's good. I'm sorry.
Looks like it. Ready?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the sign to start with, and he'll introduce our program here. Go ahead, son.
Well, this promises to be a real treat this evening. I think I see some more people coming now.
No, we'll wait a little while. The bell was supposed to ring when we were ready to go. Somebody's got to put it.
Elizabeth once said is a pioneer as well as her mother.
Right.
We'll get somebody else to sit someplace else.
Okay, while we're waiting here, we have some membership information back here in the back that Don would like to talk about.
Just a real quick report. I think you'd all be delighted to know we have 58 members now. And for those of you that are here for the first time, would you raise your hand and I'll give you a brochure. Now that was very nicely put, don't you think? Just remember what's in it. Anyone else that's here for the first time? Okay. And, you want one? Yeah, just one. I'm not here for the first time. I don't think so. And it's time for her to join. Janice Elliott. Where's Janice Elliott? The lady who likes us so much she paid her dues twice. Once by check and once by cash.
That's impressive.
This lady is here for the first time. I think it's wonderful to see so many new faces here. Mel and Jean, Loretta Papke. We all went to high school together, and we had to reintroduce ourselves.
Yes, we did, but I remember you.
Oh dear.
Yep, Jane.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
Well,
We also have postcards back here with etchings that Candy Stewart did for us, and they are for sale, so anyone interested in these can come back here, and anyone interested in joining tonight, I have a receipt book. So I think that's about it. Donnie wanted to mention about, we also have refreshments for you, and we are desperate to have a chairman just for refreshments for our meetings. What you do, you don't have to go out and buy them, you just call people and ask them to bring. So if there's anyone that would be interested in doing that, we would certainly appreciate it, because the board seems like it's getting a little heavy-handed here with things and responsibilities. So if anyone would be interested, please talk to either Donnie or myself after you've had refreshments tonight.
Yes, I'm ready. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. We shall talk. I want to introduce a cousin that's here, and that's Edie Brewer. Will you please stand, Edie, so they know who you are? Hi, daughter. And I'm supposed to have my cousin one that made my lovely display board and easel. I was so pleased to have that. And he was supposed to come, but he's kind of under the weather. He had his knee replacement, and I guess he didn't make it. So I've been looking for him, but he's not here. Now, is there any other cousin here? Well, let's start. Tonight, I want to introduce you to my wonderful, loving, generous, multi-talented mother, Iva Alice Wheeler Mann. I was born in Tacoma, October 25th, 1887, and she died in 1983. And she was born to Libby and Gage Wheeler. Now these are the notes that I found that she wrote. So this is her biography. We lived at the foot of 11th Street where the bridge starts. There was no bridge nor dock for a long time. Father had a boathouse and little launches. The Mockingbird with its whistle, starting low and getting higher, as well known all over Puget Sound, and of course, Tacoma knew it. He took out for pay and was in the boat business long before the Fosses were there. The Fosses were neighbors and hadn't thought of going into boat business. Mr. Foss learned how to make boats from my father and gradually had quite a fleet. My father designed tugboats. The Mockingbird was about 40 feet long. I must have been 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years old when my parents decided we should have a home on dry land. So they bought property at 236 Cliff Avenue. Now, it used to be Stadium Way, now it's Schuster.
It's still Stadium Way.
Pardon?
I think it's still Stadium Way.
Is it still Stadium Way? Oh, yeah, it is still Stadium, that's right. I was thinking that was Stadium Way, but that's where they had their home. It must have been several lots as it extended to C Street, Broadway. Now, we had 2 houses built side by side facing the water. Later we moved to J Street. Grandpa Ferris, John Ferris, came to us, to the United States from England, just outside of London when he was 17 or 19, or 18 years old, and lived in New York and married Betsy Daly. When my mother, Libby Ferris, was 2 years old, they equipped a wagon and started for the West. When they came to the Great Lakes, they thought it so wonderful that they thought it far enough and settled there near Forester, Michigan. They finally settled and made a farm near Forester, near Lake Huron. A sister from England came to visit them. But when she left to return to England, she said she couldn't stand the American children. They were so noisy, as there were 13 children in the family. I suppose it was a little noisy at times. When a little girl, the whole family, every Sunday, took a walk along the docks from 11th to Old Town and saw the solid line of sailing vessels tied to docks. I remember many Chinese sailors. I had a beautiful childhood on Cliff Avenue. Fine family, friends, bankers, the Drums, the Jonathan Smiths, the Weathers, the Bostwicks, who built the Bostwick Triangle building where Gunnison's jewelry store used to be. Does that sound familiar to you? She went to high school at Tacoma High School and graduated in 1904 and a half. She made that very clear. In 1906, she went to Ellsberg Normal. 1907, she taught at Whitman Elementary for a semester, and then she got married to Julius Walter Mann. They went to Fairfax for their honeymoon, and that's a mining area. It was coal mine at the time. And I'll have to tell you a little incident that Mother just was so jolly about telling me this every time she told it to me. She said, "Have you ever heard of a shivaree?" And I said, "I don't think so." She said, "Well, we certainly heard it." And it was so noisy, and they kept going up and down the porch and all around. So Dad hooked up an electric wire to the doorknob and poured a little water out there in front. He said he heard a lot of yelling. And that was the end of the shivaree. And then they moved to Wilkeson, where Dad was an electric engineer for the coal mine in Wilkeson. And oh, I forgot to tell you another thing about Fairfax. It was such a rural, crude place. She had to shoo the mule out of the kitchen.
Oh my.
So she had some experiences, I'll tell you. And let's see. Then they moved to Yakima, and that's where I was born in 1911. And Dad was with the water people there. Then my uncle persuaded my father to go into farming in Yakima, a place called Cowitching. Well, it was just about like that word, just about the name, like the name. It was so barren and full of rattlesnakes. And Dad tried to grow potatoes because that was supposed to be the going thing at that time. Well, everybody grew potatoes, so Dad went down the drain with his potatoes. But he did build a home there. But while he was building it, and he had to go to town quite a lot to deliver things, Mother stayed in the tent. And there was such a howling going on. She thought sure she was surrounded with wolves. It was just, she was really in a very strange place. So Dad lost his shirt on this potato plant. So they moved back to Wilkeson. And then my sister was born in 1914, and my dear sister died in 1977. And then we lived in Wilkeson, where Dad taught school. He taught high school there. And then we moved to Eatonville. That's where Julius taught high school again, electric and manual training. That was in 1915 to 1917. Then we went to Stillicum to stay with I'm saying my, because that's what her mother was. So my mother and father were very generous to let us stay there in their lovely home called Lakewood, and that home is still there. You know where Sunnyside Beach is, and the parking area. Well, the home is just above that.
Oh, that's a wonderful house. I know where that is.
Yes, and they ruined it though by rebuilding it. They added this and that to it.
I haven't seen that area.
It used to have stairways coming down the front to the
I
road.
remember the house from when I was a little girl. It was a
A
fabulous house.
Almost a 3-story house. It was a